repeat offender to my...
KaYVon, I have to say, you are turning into a New York legend in your own right. I mean, you are a hardworking lad that gets shit done, and
thank you.
And you do look a lot younger than your pictures. You look younger in person.
Well, isn't it supposed to be the other way around?
Are you supposed to look younger?
I gotta talk to my Photoshop artist.
And VuLCaNuS is a good friend of yours.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
yes.
How could you not be a friend of such a beautiful creature?
Are you kidding me? I know. It's like birds of a feather, right? Like,
definitely.
We gotta stick together, right? There you go.
Sticking together, actually.
Yeah. So you have a lot going on, and when did you start all this KaYVon madness? And how do you get so many hits on everything you do, and people really gravitate to you? And I just heard from someone that I know that knows you that you are very, very driven, and you are hardworking. Like you don't stop. You're constantly working. You make it look easy, but you put a lot into every detail that you do.
Well, I mean, I think like anything else, most ambition and drive comes from not having opportunity and not having a platform. And growing up in the South of North Carolina.
Is that where you're from?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Like South and North?
Well, North Carolina is a separate state than South Carolina.
Yeah, I know.
So you can only be from one. I'm from North Carolina.
Do you ever hear of Union Grove, North Carolina?
No, I haven't heard of that.
I once went to a fiddler's convention there. It was like the most memorable time I ever had.
So growing up in a town like North Carolina, you're very limited as far as artistry, you're limited as far as friends. You're just limited as far as everything. And on top of that, my parents are from Iran, which is a very oppressive culture right now. And
oh, it's so terrible.
Something that I feel very passionate about reforming. So putting oppression on top of oppression, what does that equal? A rebel. So
cool,
I think that was just basically my main drive was just being told that I couldn't do something and that there was no means for it to be done. Like every other person, you know? And
so you are a performance artist, musician. You're technically trained?
Well, actually, I started playing piano when I was 4. I'm a self-taught musician. I wouldn't say I'm classically trained, but I started composing when I was 6. Piano, I also play violin and viola as well. Something that I haven't really put out there, but yeah,
because we have the video, and you do play piano.
Yeah, the beginning of the video
a little bit
is a piece that I composed.
Yeah, let's just show a little.
In our journey of life, I recognize the value of honoring one's past. We must also make way for that which lays before us.
When you say you composed the piece, I know that means you wrote the piece and stuff. Like, how do you compose a piece like this on piano? Like, it's almost like it's so Mozart, Amadeus, you know? Like, do you feel like one of them?
Well, I mean, I don't think I'm worthy to compare myself to such talent yet. I mean, hopefully one day. I think we all strive to be compared to a legend, but thank you, that's very flattering.
Because it even has that vibe, that look of like chandeliers and,
I think really what I wanted to do is, you know, when you have an aesthetic, which VuLCaNuS can relate to, a lot of times people can't relate to you because they feel like you're not human, because you don't look human. So I really try to bring my story out and humble myself and not hide behind my aesthetic, because I think the aesthetic is important because it's a part of your art, but I think it's really important that we also humble ourselves and remind people that, you know, we're struggling and fighting and we have a dream just like everyone else. Otherwise, what's the point of it all?
Exactly.
You know, you're just a show-off then. So the beginning, I really wanted it to be watered down because the rest of the music video is so sci-fi and has so many strong looks. You know, the last thing I want to do is just to be a cartoon character.
Right, so what do you want to be?
Well,
do you have a message?
I think we all have a message. I don't think it's just one message. I think ultimately I have something to prove, most importantly to myself, but something to prove to kids like me who come from small towns and who are limited on resources and support, and just say, you know what, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are. Yeah. Can you say that word? Yeah, or it doesn't matter you know, what you have to work with. If you're driven, if you have passion,
yeah, that's what
and if you have a good heart, that you can do anything you want to do. I think that's my message ultimately.
That's perfect. So when did you move to New York?
I don't even remember. I feel like it's been a long time. It's
Yeah.
been about 7 years, I would
So
say,
did
that
you
I've
think
been here.
was it like a magnet pulling you here? Like, do you feel like this place fits you better than anywhere?
I think it's one of these places that when you come here, either feels like home in the
Yeah,
beginning,
I
or you're just
agree.
like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. I know. But when it does fit,
You know what I love about New York, ReW, is that you can either have a neighborhood and know everybody, or you have the option to get lost. You can just know nobody. And where the hell I was from, people knew your business before you did it. Like, oh, there's KaYVon going down the street. He's gonna be doing this. I mean, over here it's like you can be a stranger, you can be a neighbor, you can do it all. I just like having that option.
yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
Tell me a little bit about the triumphs and the outcome of it all, putting the project together with the music video, like behind the scenes, that kind of.
Well, I mean, the music video was definitely one of the most ambitious projects I had done or have done. And it started out with the Kickstarter, and
And you raised more money than I've seen anyone raise on
oh,
Kickstarter.
thank you.
Really good
Yeah, it
job.
was.
Yeah. How much did you get?
It was like 14 grand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That.
it's not a book.
I mean, and I want to thank everyone who contributed to that, but
People believe in you.
the production value of the video itself was so high because you had people like the Blondes, who are big designers, lending their whole collections. You had Mike Maurice, who's a really well-known director, doing the video. You know, just so many people.
Chufu.
I think the approach, Chufu, was definitely Warholian, you know? I mean, we live in New York City. You don't need to be with the biggest label.
Right.
You don't need to have $1 million. You have community. That's priceless.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we have
right.
so many talented people here who support one another. And I think the music video was more than just my song and my video. It was really a collaborative effort of so many artists and talents here in New York City. And you had Amanda Lepore at the end who did
Yeah.
the cameo. So yeah, it was a fun project.
She's only the cutest thing on 2 feet.
I'm right next to you.
Oh, you're funny,
She
KaYVon.
made me say that.
I did not. I gave you a cherry to say that.
I'm not hard to run.
So you have this big wild Dorian Gray event every week too, right?
Well, yeah, it's something we're all doing together.
Yeah.
VuLCANuS is involved.
So tell me about it.
You know what? When I moved to New York City, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to this, I'm like, what the fuck? This isn't the New York City I saw in pictures.
Well,
This
it's
wasn't
not.
the New York City that I thought I was gonna walk into. It was like, it's this corporate monopolized Chase Bank and Starbucks in every corner. Like, where the fuck is New York City?
Well, it's,
So,
I heard it's in Berlin these days. Or
Yeah,
Prague.
but I mean, that's the thing, you know. I still have
It is
this.
still New York.
I have this fantasy of living in the Big Apple and
It's the
living
best.
and you know, getting involved in that applesauce that was the 80s and the 90s, I believe. So, having been known in nightlife or working in nightlife, I really got tired of being at parties where people were dressed up and looked cool, but the music was shit. It was like top 40 music, and it was just like Rihanna, Miley Cyrus, and all these people we're trying to get away from. So I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just do a party where people look amazing and the music is amazing? So Dorian Gray, which is something we do every Wednesday night at the DL. It's 2 floors. 2013, you have a 2-floor alternative dance party, synth pop, goth, industrial, punk. People are dressed up. Everyone looks amazing. It's
And the
sexy.
DL and the
And when you walk in, you check your orientation, you check your gender, you check your age, and it's what the New York City that I saw and that I wanted to be involved with. We're revamping it.
That you saw in the movies from when I used to go out, like, yeah, like Berlin was like the best club, and you've heard of these places,
I mean,
Dancing
this-
Area.
Dorian
So
Gray-
the DL is on Delancey.
It's 95 Delancey, and the
Yeah.
party's being compared to Mud Club. It's being
Mud Club
compared.
was so much fun.
It's been compared to Mother. It's been compared to a lot of legendary parties. Knock on wood, don't want to jinx
Yeah,
it.
no,
But
Mud, I remember Mud.
it's so much fun. It's just like, you know,
It
I was
starts at
given a
midnight.
budget, and I had the choice.
Good for you.
I could do like other people in New York City who I was working with previously, who were keeping all the money and hiring 1 or 2 people. I'm like, fuck it. Let me get the money. Let me split it evenly between 20 of my best friends, and let's just make an amazing party. Because at the end of the day, like, what did we come to New York City for?
And you know what? Dorian Gray is exactly what New York City needed. An uplift of something that matches all of us as individuals to unite us all together.
So what's your favorite Dorian Gray quote?
Well, I mean, I like my personal quote for the party. I'm gonna take it back to me.
It's your spot, my love.
The quote for the party is Dorian Gray, where the look matches the music. And that's exactly what we need. We need crazy people dressed up, expressing their own personal style, but we need the music to be just as brave and just as bold, because it's the music first. It really is, and that's something that we're not even seeing in the music industry today. We have these big pop stars taking styles and taking fashions and being stylized, but then at the end of the day, the music doesn't tell the same story. If you want to be rebellious, your music needs to be just as rebellious. It can't just be one or the other. You know, if you're going to be a rock star, be a rock star. And not to say that I'm a rock star, but I definitely am inspired by, you know.
And you have a lot. You have a lot of talent, though, and a lot of people do believe in you.
Thank you.
It's so obvious. I mean, people do really love to see what you're going to wear, what you're going to say, what you're going to sing. And
He's loved by many.
He is.
He's a
Oh,
good
thank
guy.
you.
You
That's,
really are.
you guys as well.
But it's true, and but I also know that it's not a front, that it's real, and you work really
Oh,
hard.
he has some good talent, you know?
Yeah.
He's good. Very
It
good.
works
I mean,
out.
thank you, and I think
So what's your website? How do people find you?
it's my name. www.KaYVonZaNd.com.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Iraq?
Iran. Iran, yeah.
Oh, Iran, Persia.
She has me from South Carolina, from Iraq today on this
I have you in South Carolina and Iraq. Wait, is Iraq like the South Carolina of Iran?
That's the first time I've heard that.
It is though, but they were all
Welcome to
Persian.
Geography with ReW WhO.
Yeah, geography is obviously not my subject.
No. Iran is a very.
But I had a roommate once from Iran.
Well, first of all, just want to clarify. I'm American first. I was born in this country.
Yeah.
I give everything to this country because it's given me a platform, and I have the freedom, and we have the freedom to look like we do, and to do what we want to do, and we're very lucky for that. And in Iran today, if we were dressed the way that you were or I was, we would be jailed or literally could be executed. So I have to say, I'm a Persian American.
Yeah,
America gets my loyalty because it's given me a life that I wouldn't have anywhere else, and all of us a life.
It's true.
But,
no matter what they do or say and we complain, it's still the best place
And
to
nothing,
be able to
absolutely.
be free.
And no one's going to change us.
To answer your question, I had been to Iran. I went 5 years ago for the first time.
And what was it like? A rude awakening, or was it like homey?
Well, you know,
Do you have family there?
I think it's really important to embrace where your
Yeah.
family comes from. So I wasn't there necessarily trying to compare it to New York City, because let's face it, New York City isn't America. I'm from North Carolina, and definitely
I
I wouldn't
know,
have
and that's
lasted
the
there.
danger of New York, because we think the world is like
So
this.
I mean, we're not as lucky everywhere else as we are in New York, but Iran is very oppressed. It's a very different culture. Over here, we look at Pepsi ads and we look at pictures of the Jersey Shore when we drive by on billboards. In Iran, when you go on the interstate, you see dead veterans of the war. It's so oppressed. It's very heavy. It's very sad. There was one moment where I was by the Caspian Shore, which is, you know, the sea close to the north, crosses boundaries with Russia. And there was a kid, he had spikes on his hair, probably like this high, which over here would be nothing.
Right.
And there was literally a religious mullah, which is a police officer, hitting him in the head, telling him to go wash his hair.
That's horrible.
So it wasn't a rude awakening. If anything, it told me that if I'm lucky enough to have a platform and a voice, that's definitely something that I want to address and try to reform. Is the situation in the Middle East, because it is a part of my history.
Yeah.
And the people.
It affects the entire world.
The people are beautiful. The
They
people are
are.
artistic. We have to realize that governments do not represent people.
Exactly. I
think
agree.
that's-
Good for you.
Yeah.
So it is National Cherry Turnover Day, and we like to share cherry turnovers with all our guests when you share a skeleton from your closet. So
Oh, I don't get it yet.
yeah, you don't get it yet, but you will get it. So can you share a little skeleton? Have you ever done anything wrong, KaYVon?
Me do something wrong.
I know, it seems like you're so squeaky clean.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we could talk about a skeleton.
Yeah?
I think one of my New York skeletons was being banned from the Hammerstein Ballroom.
And why was that? What'd you do?
Well, it's not.
What did they accuse you?
Okay, this is what happened. Is I had a show and I was very excited. I thought it was a good show. But as far as when I walked into the venue, I was doing this show in all of the other grunge New York City clubs. I don't know if some of you guys remember Don Hills, maybe in the audience.
I
on
do.
the camera. Rest in peace, Don, by the way.
Yes.
First venue I played at in New York City.
Ah.
But I had done the show at the other New York City venues, and Highline was kind of like my big moment. Like, yes, I'm gonna play the Highline Ballroom. You know, it's gonna be so cool. And that was a rude awakening. I'll tell you why. Literally half of my show was cut from the moment I stepped on stage. They're like, you can't use your fire, you can't have any nudity, you can't have this and that. And at the time, my music and my show was a little bit more shock rock, where today I'm more influenced by synth pop and more kind of 80s, you know.
Right.
But at the time, it was a shock rock show. And half of my stage show, ReW, literally before I step on stage, the representatives come and they cut it. They don't tell me before the show. They asked me to come to a venue where I had performed the same show in other venues. So basically, we do the show, and I told the fire breathers, I said, you know what, there's not going to be any fire on stage, so you can just go fuck on stage. I'm half joking, I didn't really think they would actually do it.
Oh my god. Don't tell me. They do it exactly what you said. Classic.
The next thing I know is that all of a sudden I see like this fire breather and his girlfriend giving each other oral as I'm trying to sing. As I'm trying to sing White Wedding covered by Billy Idol. And I'm like,
Oh my.
so I'm just going with it and I'm like, White Wedding. So I'm just going with the flow.
Take the whole thing!
So anyhow, of course I got banned. I mean, at least I hope it was good for them.
That's a story and a half.
So next day, and I hadn't had New York press. Next time at page 6, I'm in the Village Voice. I'm everywhere. New York City performer has sex on stage. So apparently, not only there's a blowjob thing happening next to me, they threw me in the mix.
Oh, Miley
So
Cyrus.
I think that's my
You're
skeleton.
the original Miley.
Oh God, let's not even talk about
Oh,
that.
I just mean controversy.
Yeah, no, controversy. Well, actually, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I just want to say,
It's so silly.
I don't have a problem with performers being sexual and performers being provocative, but that was lazy. There was no choreography, there was no production. It's just like, what message does that send to young artists? Is as long as you're a female and you skank it on stage, you're gonna be at the VMAs. That was skanky. There was no choreography, there was no talent, there was no message. It was just like,
Yeah, exactly. I know.
I mean,
I know. The whole thing is just so.
I think, honestly, you know, it's representative of what the message we're sending to our youth this day and age. You know, at the end of the day, it's like
They should have fire eaters.
yeah, they should.
Yeah, exactly. Fire eaters giving blowjobs.
But that's my skeleton.
I love it. Have a
I'm
charity.
gonna take them all.
Oh,
He deserves like the whole
take
pack.
them. And
That was
you
a
can,
big
you can have some of
skeleton.
the dry cherries.
Actually, I'm
too.
gonna take the cherries instead. I like
Yeah,
those.
that's the gluten-free version, you know.
Well, you know, we gotta watch.
Oh, you don't have to worry, mister. You look adorable. Well, we thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
coming.
having me.
So everybody, the DL every Wednesday night
Dorian
at
Gray.
midnight.
And check out that music video. if you
We're
can.
gonna end your segment with the video as well.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much.
We've been wanting to do this for a long time.
I
We finally
know.
got to.
Thanks to VuLCaNuS.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, thank you.
I know.
Thank you,
So we'll be back in a minute after we eat some cherries.
Thank you.
Yay. So we're gonna make it a lot.